Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, a follow-up on that Marx 595 that arrived. Now, if you watch the first video, you know the shell itself was really badly damaged in shipping. And what you do, you take a pair of opposed jaw pliers and you slowly just bring them around to restore that radius. And as you see, with a little bit more work, you would never know that that had been damaged. Now the paint's gone, but that's easy enough to touch up. Magic marker, let it dry, and a drop of oil, and that will be virtually invisible. So it's never going to be perfect, but it's going to be almost unnoticeable. You'd have to look for the damage to see it. Now, the motor itself only ran forward, and going to do a quick experiment to see if we can get that E-unit to work. Now we know the E-unit is actually working, it's just sticking really badly. So let me get this stuff out of the way. I want to show you a real interesting trick. Now on the side of the motor, there is a hole, as you see. So take WD-40 with a nozzle, and you stick the nozzle in that hole and give it a quick spray. Just a bit. And that actually lubricates the solenoid shaft itself. Make sure this is pointing down when you spray it. So just a quick spray, and in many cases that will get the E-unit working. So let's see if that did anything. Forward and reverse, look at that. All right, back in focus here. So the headlight is out, as you see, but that definitely cured the E-unit. So it's up and running. So pull the bulb out, and let me grab one. Hold on. All right, I have light bulbs. So let's go with one of the big ones. These are, now this is a old Marx bulb, brass, as you see. All right, let's put this in. See if, all right, the bulb is working, E-unit is working. So this motor is up and running. That is really cool. As I stress, don't overlook the junk. You can see how much oxide is on this motor. Not a lot of rust. This is just oxide. This has sat someplace for years and years, decades, without running at all. But it hasn't had a whole lot of runtime. The thing is, it is up and running. So I've got the shell repaired. I straightened the tab and slot somewhat. So let's reassemble this. We'll put it on the rail and see how it's going to run. All right, line this up. Grab my screws. And as a point, if you need screws, you can find these at Walmart. These are 632 standard screws. All right, so tighten this down. I'll pull this camera off the tripod and we'll take it from there. All right, screws are tight. Put it on the rail. Let me grab the camera off the tripod. Get the tripod out of the way. All right, so first test with the shell on it. Let's see what happens. It's running in reverse. It's running forward, and it has a working headlight. Now this thing is still far from perfect. It's only been here for, I don't know, half an hour, if that. So it needs to be run and then periodically re-lubricated. But I've got the majority of that damage repaired, as you see. And once you color this, you would have to look at this really closely to even know that it was ever damaged. So let's put this on a consist, and we'll take this around the rail and see how it runs. All right, let's do it this way, I think. All right, here we go. Let's see how this goes. All right, 40% power, pulling 10 litho cars. Headlight is working, the motor is running actually quite well. It's actually beginning to speed up now. So turn the power down a bit. That's 35% power. And the E unit is working. So you tell me, was that worth $6 in about 20 minutes of my time? Again, it just reinforces everything I say. Don't overlook the junk. I've got less than half an hour of my time in this locomotive. A couple of drops of oil and a couple of sprays of WD-40 and a new light bulb. And that's actually running really well. So far from perfect, but as I always say, if you want to get into this and you don't want to spend a lot of money, this is the way to do it. $6, half hour of my time, a new light bulb, a few drops of oil, a couple of sprays of WD-40, and this old locomotive is up and running. And actually running quite well. And the longer it runs, the better it will run, of course. So I'll run it for a bit, put a couple more drops of oil on it, run it some more, cycle the E unit forward and reverse, and this thing's going to run like new. I have absolutely no doubt about that. This is running really, really well. Touch up that paint, you'll never know it was ever damaged. So I'll very likely take the shell off, plunk it down in a sink of hot soapy water, touch up that spot where it was so badly bent, and I have a new 595 that's going to run just absolutely splendidly. I have absolutely no doubt about that. Forward and reverse running perfectly. So I'm pleased with it, no doubt about that. It was definitely worth the $6. If it didn't run at all, it was worth the $6. Just for the parts in it. So I'll very likely run this the rest of the day. That's what it needs now. Once you get these things up and running, run them. Put them through their paces, stop them, run them in reverse, run them forward, fast, slow, just to get that motor used to running, gets all the oxide off all the moving parts. This thing's been sitting someplace for decades. No doubt about that. Interestingly enough, there is no rust on the push rods at all. They're still bright, shiny chrome. And it's far from perfect, as you can see, but the thing is, it's up and running, the damage is repaired, and once I get that paint touched up, you'll never know that was actually damaged. Straightened out the tab and slot coupler, installed a light bulb, a couple of shots of WD-40, and a couple of drops of oil. And that is it. And the locomotive is up and running. So anyway, I just want to do a quick video follow-up on this. Marx 595, $6. Don't overlook the junk. You can do this on an absolute shoestring budget if you don't want to spend a lot of money running model trains. So anyway, just a quick follow-up. It's going to be a nice old locomotive. Far from perfect, but $6, you can't beat it. And like I said, even if you used it for parts, it was worth the $6. In this case, you have a decent 595, touch up the paint, it would look good as is. You can use the motor for something else. you could still use it for parts if you wanted to. I make it a point, though, of always trying to get a motor running before I cannibalize it for parts. In this case, it was well worth my time, about 20 minutes. And it's up and running, and that's including repairing the damage. This thing was really badly bent, as you saw, and very likely in shipping. But that's repaired, and a couple minutes more work on that, you'll never know it was ever damaged. Straightened out the tab and slot, and lubed and tuned, and it's up and running. So get this thing cleaned up, touch up the paint. I have a new Marx 595 that runs forward and reverse that costs $6. Really difficult to beat that. Anyway, just a quick follow-up video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.